Well, Billy, lovely to see you. We're in a rather nice location overlooking the 17th, which I'm sure will have lots of lovely drama over the 3 days of this year's Ryder Cup. But for you, slightly different feeling. You're not lumping a bag around. So will we be able to enjoy it?
Yeah, it's going to be different. You know, obviously, since 1987, I've been involved in the team, apart from the odd time that I snapped my cruciate ligament. But yeah, it's been a massive part of my career, and some of the most special moments. You know, even with Darren Clark, going back to 2006, hugging him, having won the Ryder Cup out 6 weeks after his wife had died, being my most special memory in Caddy. And never mind Fitz winning the US Open or Lee being #1 in the world. That moment with Darren Clark at a Ryder Cup, so special. I
was standing on that green commentating at the time, and I realised, I mean, just the whole place was the emotion coming out. Were you finding it hard to keep it in check yourself?
It was incredible. I mean, Darren Holder put on the 12th to go 4 up from probably 80 feet from one side of the green to the other. And when he got to the 13th tee, I could see him. You just know when you spend 30 weeks a year, you know, 7 days a week, 10 hours a day with somebody, you know him better than your missus. And I just knew he'd gone. And it was a case of, honestly, if I'd have been a jockey, I'd have been done for excess whipping over the last 3 holes. It was, I actually said to him, just take an extra 30 seconds, tie your shoelaces up or do something, just try and bring your heart rate down on the 13th tee. And yeah, it was hard work getting him over the line, but yeah, he did it, and it'll go down as my most special prize memory in golf.
But this year in the Ryder Cup, it's all about our time, our place. That's the European Tour's mantra coming into this week. You did it, and they say 37 players. You caddied for Seve and you see that film. It's all about, they did it for Seve. And you couldn't shave then. You were 21. What were you thinking? Here you are working for the inspiration, the heartbeat of the European Tour, and you were a babe in arms.
Yeah, well, in '87 I was caddying for Gordon Brown Jr., but I was caddying for Seve when I was 25, and I still looked 15 and 16 even then. So, yeah, but I mean, gone are the days of in the 80s and 90s. You know, it was the European Tour against America, and the European Tour. Some of the players, including Seve, you know, it was pure and utter hatred. Make no bones about it. It was hatred on another level. Seve just despised everybody. Like, you know, when it comes to a Ryder Cup, you know, if they were on fire. You know, he needs to go to the toilet and turn the other way. Like he did not like them one bit. But obviously now, most of our players live in America. 10 of this team live in America, and they play on the PGA Tour, all of them. So they play together all the time. So that feistiness to a certain level has gone. That hatred's gone. But don't get me wrong, they'll be handing out boxing gloves on the first tee and not golf gloves.
What about the fans then? Back in '87, were the Americans still thinking they're going to win them? Even though they'd lost the '85 one, what were the fans like? They talk this week's going to be spicy. Was it?
1987, that was like going to a garden party. The atmosphere is a completely different animal 40 years down the line here. This is going to be incredibly hostile. And there's only one way to do it, and the players should be prepared. I know they'll be prepared. Luca left no stone unturned. But they've got to embrace it and almost smile and laugh at them. And just make birdies and keep the crowd quiet, because if they get affected or get cross, angry, get into scuffles, it ain't going to happen.
OK, you know the players were, and Seve leading from the front and the other players saying we're going to put the US team in their box. When did you notice the crowd suddenly becoming more? Was it '99 Brookline? Was it before? Was it the war on the shore, Kiowa Island? When did it suddenly go wrong? It was
definitely Kiowa Island, because, you know, I mean, I've seen the sign here, Nick Faldo pointed it out. America have won 27 Ryder Cups to Europe's 15. Well, no, that's not the case. It's actually America 7, Europe 11. Because guess what? I mean, you know, Great Britain and Ireland are never going to be a giant of America. So let's get that right first and foremost. But listen, it's the atmosphere here will be off the charts, incredible. But yeah, it changed in '85, because obviously Europe won in '85, '87, halved in '89. So America don't like getting beat, so it definitely changed. Kiowa Island 1991 was nasty.
Do you remember people saying something to you, or one of your players playing in America, that you thought, oh, that's a bit over the top?
Yeah, all the time. They get dogs abuse, you know, and listen, you just got to man up and get on with it, and don't be so, you know, don't be so pathetically touchy, you know, just get on with it. And you're the man, get out there and do it for Europe. And it's in your blood. Just get out there and do it. You can't be affected by words.
Would you tell your players ignore it? if you heard something coming at them, how would you manage? Or
just laugh at them. So listen to that knobhead, you know. It's like, just get on with it. It don't matter, mate. They're getting affected. You're getting under their skin. You don't have to say anything. Anybody that goes into the crowd and gets affected and gets into an argument with them, that's no good. You're going to start losing the crowd. Just turn it against them by smiling and getting on with it.
And I think you were caddying in 2004. You were doing, and that was a big win. And that was when Tiger was at his pomp. First match out in Mickelson. You had Bernard Lang as your captain. What was that like? Because I remember the crowd they almost were expecting to lose that one for some reason. They were really down.
Yeah, and it was it's one of the most enjoyable ones. That one, because I think it was 18.5, 9.5, I believe, and it was the same at the K Club. You know, give them a proper battering, like, you know. So they're the ones that you can really enjoy the last few holes, but. Out of the 16 I've been involved in, they're probably the only two, you know, because after, even last time in Rome, you're always going to have that hour or so that you're looking at that scoreboard and it's like a sea of red, All-American victories, or it's a sea of blue, and no matter which way it's working, it could be Medina, which flipped the other way, and the Americans are looking at the scoreboard being blue, and I guarantee as a player down in the middle of that golf course, when you want a sick bucket, you want to throw up on the golf course because your guts are in knots looking about, this is all going against us. And you always get that. Every Ryder Cup, 14 out of the 16 I've been involved in, at some stage, you're absolutely bricking yourself going, this is going wrong.
Would you be bricking it?
Yeah, you feel it inside in your guts, of course you do. You don't show it and you don't talk it, but you can't help taking in all the atmosphere and looking at what's going on, and you start feeling a bit sick, but you got to man up and get on with it.
But what's the worst that you've ever felt in a Ryder Cup then? When things maybe getting trying to get the team over the line, or when something just your player suddenly implodes? Have you had that moment when
my worst feeling in a Ryder Cup was definitely this, again, 2006 with Darren Clarke. Because Darren was really struggling on the second round against Tiger Woods and Jim Furyk, and Westwood was playing like God. And I got a message back to Ian Woosnam to say Westwood's playing like God and Darren Clarke's playing like me, and I'm not very good, without swearing. And Woodsy got the message, and the afternoon 4 balls came out. Westwood was playing with Montgomery, and Clarke got wind of it because Woodsy had gone up to Darren and said, Darren, I'm really sorry you're not playing this afternoon, but Billy says you're playing absolute crap. Oh my God, he threw me right under the bus, and Clarke didn't speak a word to me for 24 hours. I felt so sick. And you're like thinking, what if we lose this Ryder Cup by half a point? It's all my fault because I've made Woodsy change the team. You know, it's like, but I'll try to do the right thing for the team, protect the team, and you know, sometimes you've got to say tough decisions to do the right thing for the team. You know, honesty. And that's the worst I've ever felt there, because he didn't speak to me for 24 hours.
Well, then you were in tears on the 24 hours later. You were in tears on the celebrating victory.
Well, I had to walk into the locker room on Sunday morning and hold my hands up and say, Clarke, what I did yesterday, I thought was for the benefit of yourself and the benefit of the team. If you want to sack me, sack me. I hold my hands up, I'm sorry, but let's get out there and win this match and win it for Heather and win the Ryder Cup. And 4 hours later, he loved me, but yeah, I got away with it in the end.
You got away with it, but actually what you've said is that while you've got all these vice-captains, the role of the caddy, who knows his player better than anybody, is actually so important.
Yeah, I've done it three or four times. I did the same at Hazeltine with Wesley, and a couple of things in Paris that I mentioned that went back via somebody else to the captain, and it changed. So yeah, you do have an influence, and you know, you can do the wrong thing and cost your team for sure, 100%. But sometimes you say something and it goes your way.
With all your experience, would they more likely listen to you? Look, there will be younger caddies who may be experiencing a first Ryder Cup, and given everything going on now, would the captains value your opinion more than perhaps most, or not?
I won't say more, but he values your opinion, and Luke's and other captains have made me sit down with the caddies and tell my stories and let them know how important it is. It ain't about you, it ain't about your player. And you've always got to say the right thing, to do the right thing to protect the team, and no more so than what I did in 2006 with Darren Clarke. But you have to be honest, because guess what? If you ask a player, he's playing great. Yes, I can do. Oh, yeah, he's playing well. But if you're honest and saying, Paul or Luke, listen, he's struggling, get him out, guess what? You're doing the right thing for the team. So,
how do you keep Seve in check? Did you ever?
With great difficulty. Oh, yeah. I mean, honestly, we're like a demented Rottweiler, frothing at the mouth with his muzzle on you, trying to hold the leash and pull him back. I've actually had the pockets, pulling his pockets back, telling him to calm down and shouting at him. And some of them, I remember one at Kiewit Island in the singles. I mean, he demented, wanting to actually kill the bloke who's playing. It's like, whoa, take a chill pill, relax, tranquilo, senor. Everything's good, you know. It's like, yeah, I had many a battle with him, yeah.
And what about when he was Valderrama, when he was captain, of the team? I mean, people said he was just like a whirling dervish. Who were you canning for that year? Was that
Dad and Clark? I think we'd have won that Ryder Cup by about 5 points, but we won it by a point thanks to Seve. I mean, he was upsetting his own players, wanting to hit every shot and giving them advice. He was doing Monty's head in, he was doing Clarky's head in, Wozzie's head in. But listen, it was another great victory.
But what was it saying that without it's Seve's influence on the European team, we see now that all the fact, you know, the video they've put out, it's, you know, Seve, he was the man who transformed, and now they come with a real chance of winning here, despite all the likely hostility. This team looks formidable. Are we carrying anybody? I'm not sure we are.
If you asked me to choose 12 players, I'd choose exactly the same 12. Not that my opinion matters, but I think this is the strongest in-depth team we've ever had. You know, we used to have 7 or 8 good players and 2 or 3, 4 weak links, you know, but now it's 1 to 12. Every one of them can stand up and play great golf.
Do you think they can win? Look, your heart is probably wishing them to win, but
100%. 100%, absolutely, 100%. Listen, if you're asking me who's going to win, I can't call that. It's a coin toss, literally. I think the teams are very similar on paper. The crowd's a massive thing. They've set up the golf course to benefit their game, but that's their prerogative. But listen, the crowd is a big thing. If they can keep the crowd quiet and not get affected, I think Europe will win, yeah.
And seeing it here, as we look out over here, will you be just a golf fan? Giving it, what will you be feeling? Because you've been inside the ropes. Now you're sort of able. Will you be able to stand back and say, this event has changed? It's just like nothing. When you think 85, 87, it was a big deal, but this is just
it's grown into twice the animal it was in the 80s. But then again, you know, it's better in a lot of ways. But you know, the animosity is not on the same level. But it's, as a tournament, it's grown so much, and it's great to see this, and it's amazing. And I'll be cheering as partisan as any European out here, let me tell you.
Your enthusiasm, would you like to, in the caddies' room and everywhere, it's a special place, isn't it, for this week, and the way Luke Donald seems to have created. Is that the sense that Luke has got a calmness about him, because you would have seen him up close and personal, you did in Italy?
Yeah, out of all the Ryder Cups I've done, I always said Paul McGinley was the best captain we've ever had. But after Rome, I said, well, Luke, we're equally as good. And if Europe win this week, Luke Donald might go down as the best European Ryder Cup captain we've ever had. And by default, because I don't think you've ever been a Ryder Cup captain, because if you want for live golf, I mean, Westwood would have been your captain in Italy. Ian Poulter would have been the captain this week. Graham McDowell would have been the captain in Ireland. Sergio Garcia would have been the captain next time comes to America. Luke Donald would have never been a Ryder Cup captain. And not forgetting Stenson, who got banned as well, and Luke got into it by default. But he could go down as our best ever captain. He does an absolutely amazing job.
And you were around when Jacklin was captaining, weren't you, 87? Because he captained when they won here, didn't he?
Yeah.
When he steered it, because he made Europe players feel special, didn't he?
I mean, if you have to go look at the last 40 years, undoubtedly the two people that have made the European Tour what it is today is definitely Tony Jacklin and Seve Ballesteros. And one person more than any other, Seve Ballesteros, has made the Ryder Cup what it is today.
Does the cry USA, USA drive you mad?
It drives you insane, yeah. I just start saying, can you sing another song? It's like, it's pathetic, isn't it? But, you know, hope they'll find something else this week.
Billy, always a pleasure. Can they find another song? I don't think they will, and I hope they can't find how to hold a putt or two. But anyway, Billy, always a pleasure.